I have some really exciting information to share with you today. And here's why. Millions of kids want to play Division One baseball. That's a fact. And when I ask them where they want to play, they always tell me the Power Five schools. Always. And why shouldn't they? When you're a kid, you should be allowed to dream big. I want to play at LSU. I want to play at Florida State. I want to play at Miami, wherever, right? But as they go through the journey, what they find out about 16 or 17 years old is they're not where they wanted to be. And for a lot of kids, it's probably because they weren't talented enough to play at those kind of schools. But there is a group of kids that I am 100% sure could play at those places, but they lacked one thing in the process. And guess what? It was not talent. Do you know what it was? A plan. That's what they lacked, a plan. They never planned for success. You know the old saying, people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan? That's exactly what I'm talking about. So here's the good news. I'm going to lay out a plan for you, just like we do with our clients, the people that we're mentoring all the way through the process. We're going to make sure that we have swung the odds in their favor. And even then, there's no guarantee it's going to work out. But I will tell you, we've had a lot of success putting plans together for talented young athletes, executing the plan, and then moving them on to the next level. So let's get started with the plan. Here's the first thing. Evaluation. Okay? Moms and dads, I got some news for you. Please don't be offended. Your evaluation of your son is very skewed. What you really need and what your son needs is an honest, accurate, and professional evaluation. And here's what we're going to evaluate. We're going to evaluate his talent. Let's be clear on what talent is. It's what God gave him. You cannot really change your talent. It's what your DNA allows you to do. Some kids have more talent for playing baseball than others, just like some kids have more talent for playing a musical instrument than others. Some kids have more talent for math than others. Some kids have more talent to pick up languages than others. Are you getting my point? Baseball's no different. Sports is no different. Some kids are simply more talented. But here's the good news. There's something else, several other things that are going to factor into this evaluation. One is talent, what God gave you. You can't change it. The next one are skills. Skills are what we have done with the talent that God gave us. Okay? See the difference? We got talent, but now we got to do something with it. Think of a piece of clay. Some people can take the same amount of clay and make something beautiful out of it, and some people can't. Okay, so we want to hone in on what skills does a player have. Here's the next one, athleticism. Now it ties in to what God gave them and what skills are, but athleticism is how your body moves, and that's something that you can train. I remember when my son was about 14 years old and a college coach said his feet were too slow, okay? He wasn't athletic enough to play at a high level. And guess what we did? We started working on his feet. And guess what? His career changed because not only did we get the right information, but we had a plan, you can hear that word over and over, to do something about it, okay? So, self-evaluation is talent, okay, skills, and athleticism. I can't spell very good. I'm going to add one more to this, and that is physicality. Okay, physicality. That is, how strong are you? And I've seen a lot of talented players have talent, have some skills, have some athleticism, they get overlooked simply because they don't look strong enough to play at a high level. Coaches will say something like, man, I really like that little guy, but he's just not physical enough to play at the next level. So this is something you absolutely need to do to start your journey. Okay, what's next? So if evaluation, not mom and dad's opinion of what their son is, but a professional evaluating your son and giving you this information, what do you do with it? Okay, then you start development. Development. This is a buzzword. Everybody's talking about development. I think most people think that means go into a batting cage and get gazillions of swings. I mean, that might be a small part of the development or even a big part of it, but it's not the only part. Or how hard can I throw? I'm going to get a velocity program and throw it through a wall. Okay, that's part of development. That's not the whole part, the whole development. Okay, so this is really, really important. With our clients, the things that we do, we create something called an IDP, Individual Development Plan, an individual development plan. You know why it's called individual? Because every single kid is different. They all have what we call yeah buts. Let me tell you what a yeah but is. If I was watching your son play, college coaches stand beside me, and they say something like this, man, I really like that little shortstop out there, but, here comes the but he doesn't have the arm strength to play shortstop in the ACC. But he's just not quite physical. But he doesn't seem to handle errors very well. We are okay with him making an error, but when he makes an error, he kicks the dirt and the dust and he throws a little temper tantrum. He's not going to be able to play with us because mistakes are part of the game. That's what college coaches might be saying. So here's the point. If there's a but, okay, we need to find out what it is, and then we need to do something about it. And if we don't do that, here's what happens to kids like that. They go through the process thinking they're pretty good. The phone doesn't ring and the clock strikes midnight, and they didn't know or ever do anything about the but or several buts in their development. So we want to make sure that we are objective, looking at this player and saying, here's what we like, here's where you're talented and you're skilled, but here's what's going to hold you back. That is so important. Okay? So, development. Okay? Here's the next one. Exposure. The big E word. Everybody wants exposure. Everybody wants to talk about exposure. Well, guess what? If you get exposed at the wrong time in your career, here's what happens. You get written off everybody's list because you got exposed. Think of what that word means. It revealed something about you. So again, with our clients, we're not rushing exposure. We're not just running out there with an unfinished product, with an undeveloped player and saying, here, college coaches, look at this guy. That's how you get scratched off lists, and that's how you lose credibility with college coaches. You show them players that aren't ready for real exposure. So, development comes before exposure. And with the new recruiting policies in place, which I happen to love, let me tell you what, that exposure is not going to happen till much later than it had been happening. College coaches are not looking at 7th and 8th and 9th graders like they used to. I'm not saying they're not looking at all. I'm saying they're not looking at them like they used to. Okay? What's next? 4, promotion. Promotion. What's that mean, promotion? It's not mom and dad posting on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter of how great their son is. Side note, moms, dads, please stop doing that. If your son is good, college coaches will recognize his talent. I used to get so tired of parents coming up to me as the director of a national program and telling me how good their son is. A couple times I'd just say, look, I know how to evaluate talent, so you don't need, in fact, I don't want you to tell me how good your son is. However, big asterisk, who is promoting your son? Who? Somebody with credibility. Somebody that the college coaches and the pro scouts respect, and somebody that when they say this kid is good, the college coaches go, oh, okay, I want to make sure I see that kid. Okay? Again, mom and dad, please stop. I'll say it this way. It's not a nice way to say it. Stop bragging about your son. Nobody wants to hear that, and nobody thinks that's credible. However, people like me, other recruiting services that have genuine respect and credibility with college coaches and pro scouts, that's who you want promoting your son. Okay? Side note on that whole subject of promotion. Everybody out there that's going out there trying to get ranked. You're going to showcase after showcase. You're trying to up your rankings. I'm telling you, you are wasting your time and your money. Here's why. There's not a college coach in the country in 17 years of doing this ever has asked me what a player is ranked. They've never asked me. You know why? Because they don't care. If you don't believe me, get on Twitter and do your own homework. I just saw Cliff Godwin, the head coach at ECU, on Twitter in a podcast ask, what do rankings mean? He goes, should I be honest? Nothing. We will evaluate the player. We don't need some third party that's collecting money from somebody to tell us who we should look at. Okay? Can't say it loudly enough, clearly enough. It's a money grab. I'm sorry. I won't make any friends with the people who do that for a living, but it's not necessary. Stop trying to get ranked. Okay. Well, we talked about having a plan, evaluation, development, exposure, promotion. The last part of that is the recruiting process. That is when kids start getting recruited. They're actually talking to college coaches. If you're getting a letter in the mail, or they don't think they do snail mail anymore, an email, and you're telling people that your son is getting recruited by whoever sent the email, please stop doing that. You're not getting recruited. They send those out to thousands and thousands and thousands of kids, and I'm not faulting them for that. They try to fill up their camps with kids. That helps pay the bills at college coaches. I get it. That's fine. But as a parent or a player, do not think that is getting recruited. Getting recruited is when a college coach is coming to watch you play, and when the time is right, wants to talk to you, invite you maybe to a personal camp. That's a whole different ballgame. That is when you're getting recruited. And again, I see so many people making mistakes in the recruiting process. I see them making mistakes when they start getting offers, trying to negotiate as if it's some kind of used car we're talking about. There's just a lot of problems for people that don't understand the process. So there it is. That's a plan. It's big, it's exhaustive, it's comprehensive, but let me wrap this up with a statement. Less than 2% of high school baseball players are going to play Division I baseball. Let me say it another way. 98% of high school players are not going to play Division I baseball. Okay? So those odds are not great, right? But we can swing the odds in your favor with a plan like this. Okay? No guarantee, but I promise you, not having a plan is not the way to go through this process. Hoping that somebody comes and spots your son or spots you as a player sitting up in a stand somewhere, and maybe back in the 40s or 30s, that's how it worked. It doesn't work that way anymore. It works like this. Okay, I hope this video helped you. Bye for now. We'll see you next time.